Their knowledge needs not words to embody idea. Idea seeking house in boundlessness, weary of its homeless immortality, ask not thought's card brilliant cell to rest, whose single windows clipped outlook on things sees only a little arc of God's vast sky. You have got a window, and what can you see through the window? Only a small part of the sky. The vastness, the infinity of the sky is beyond your vision, beyond your grasp, beyond. Their knowledge needs not words. When you are in that calm, in that wisdom, that knowledge, then you don't need words to embody the idea. Idea by itself expresses what it has to express. It doesn't need any expression at all. Idea seeking a house in boundlessness. It is what happens. We need some kind of location where the idea can be lost. Idea by itself does not exist in our case. It has to be there somewhere, see. Weary of its homeless immortality. See, the idea is tired of it. I am tired of joy, happiness. What? Let me have some change also for the sake of change. Let me experience different kind of things also. And it gets tired of its immortality and wants to wander around and go here and go there and meet the hazards of all the situations. It is welcoming that kind of thing. It will have its own joy. Therefore, the idea is wandering around, weary of its homeless immortality, asks not in thought's card brilliance, but then it does not want to go and gets lodged in a small cell. That idea. Card brilliant cell to realm, whose single windows clipped outlook on things. See, Plato's idea, you see, it is ideas. Plato's are ideas, not idea. You see. So, you have got varieties of ideas, and ideas are immortal. They have to come into expression, and they have to experience it. The boundless with the boundless, they are consorts. While there, one can be wider than the world. Means when that idea is in its own proper house, it can be wider than what it is actually. It is much more than that itself. While there, one is one's own infinity. His center was no more in earthly. Now he's coming back to Ashwapati. He has described known, knowing, knowledge. Now he's coming back to Ashwapati. His center was no more in earthly mind. It has crossed the terrestrial limits. It has gone into the spiritual domain. In fact, that is what happens now. He has already said that after the mental experiences, when the mind has fallen silent, when there is the pure perception, then you cross the mental, rational mind's domain and go into the spiritual. His center was no more in earthly mind, a power of seeing silence filled his limbs. See, even his limbs, his physical, they are filled with that seeing. They can see. The limbs are able to see things, not just the eyes. Your organs, your physical body itself is able to see and experience all those things. His center was no more in earthly mind. A power of seeing silence filled his limbs, caught by a voiceless white epiphany into a vision that surpasses form. Into a vision that surpasses form means the vision is far beyond a form can present. The vision is something beyond the form can present itself. Into a vision that surpasses form, into a living that surpasses life. So it is much more than the life we experience, we live in that. He neared the still consciousness, sustaining all. So that is the spiritual advance of Ashwapati. Knowing, knowledge, he has led him now. He neared the still consciousness, absolute calm, still calm, that stability is there. Means it is the solidity of that eternal calm which is established in him. And when that eternal calm is there, then you have all-seeing, motionless, sovereign, alone, you see. That eternal calm, you see. Here he neared still. See, This is the journey of the yogi which is continuing. The journey is continuing. He neared. He will near it also. He will reach that place also. But then his journey will continue further. Means what knowledge he has got, what wisdom he has got is going to lead him further on to something else. Much more than that, you see. Near the still consciousness, sustaining all. In other words, when he would enter into that consciousness, new domains of understanding, of knowledge, of cognition will open out for him, you see. He near the still consciousness, sustaining all. The voice that only by speech can move the mind. Well, that is our limitation. See, the voice that only by speech, only when you utter that only by speech. Unless you speak, you can't understand what he is talking of, what he is there in his mind at all, you see. Now, only by speech. Now, this speech of ours, what we are talking, everyday conversation of ours, is called Vaikhari. The common man's language, Vaikhari. Our language is a Vaikhari. So, our mind is speaking only the Vaikhari language. After Vaikhari, there is the Madhyama, the intermediate language. What we are speaking, after that there is the medium intermediate language, Madhyama. After that is seeing speech, Pashyanti. Means the speech itself sees things. This is what he is talking of here. The speech itself sees things. Pashyanti vaka. Means the speech itself gives you vision, everything completely here. Now here our mind, formation, sensation will make it kind of a picture for us and then we can grasp it. But Madhyama, which is intermediate between Pashyanti and Vaikhari, can take you a little further on. When you are in the world of Pashyanti, you see things. They speak directly to you. What you see, they are speaking also directly to you. Therefore it is called Pashyanti. The seen language, the language you see and talks. The voice that only by speech and beyond Pashyanti is the Paravani, transcendent speech. Beyond Pashyanti is the transcendent speech, which has no word to describe at all, Pashyanti. So we have got 4 grades of language, actually, Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti and Para. Para is the last stage of language. See, where the transcendental beings talk to each other in that language. The voice that only by speech can move the mind became a silent knowledge in the soul. So that has become now the knowledge of the soul. The strength that only in action fills its truth was lost now in the mute, omnipotent peace. Well, he is describing his states again. A leisure in the labor of the worlds, a pause in the joy and anguish of the search, restore the stress of nature to God's calm. So that is the condition in which we live. A leisure, we are living in the world of labor. We are having joy and anguish. All that thing has been stopped, has come to an end, and it has been restored to God's calm. Our turmoil, our anguish, our conflicts, everything is now kind of resolved in God's calm. A leisure in the labor of the world, a pause in the joy and anguish of the soul, restore the stress of nature to God's calm. A vast unanimity ended life's debate. So there is no conflict. Idea versus idea, God versus God, religion versus religion, ideology versus ideology. All those conflicts had disappeared completely. Ambition, possession, greed, all those things have completely disappeared now. A vast unanimity ended life's debate. Now, about the debate, he is going to describe a few things in a long sentence, some 17, 18 lines long sentence. The war, what do we experience in our life? The war of thoughts that fathers the universe. Yeah. the war of thoughts that fathers the universe. This is an echo of Heraclitus. Heraclitus. This sentence is struggle, war is the father of progress. Heraclitus. The clash of forces struggling to prevail. Well, that is what we have got in this world. It's very common to us. In the tremendous shock that lies a star. Well, even that is a kind of a shock. It is a conflict of assertion. The clash of forces struggling to prevail in the tremendous shock that lies. Well, actually, it is that shock which makes the star burning. In fact, that is how, in fact, this is pure astronomy and is absolutely true also astronomically. How is a star is born? How a star is born? It is the gravitational collapse of matter into it which gives the energy sufficient, kinetic energy sufficient to become a star. The matter is there without any illumination. When the gravitational collapse starts appearing, collapse means it is coming closer and closer. So the potential energy which it has become more and more kinetic energy. And the kinetic becomes so strong, so large that it can light up into a flame. That is how the star is born astronomically. In other words, gravity is a matchstick to light a star. It is a matchstick by which a star is lighted. So it is that clash. When it is collapsing like that, then the star is born. So this is perfect astronomy, you see. The clash of forces struggling to prevail in the tremendous shock that lights a star, as in the building of a grain of dust. So whether it is building a small grain of dust or a star, it is that. The groove, the turn, the dumb ellipse in space. Well, that is what happens now. Planets are moving in the grooves in their orbits constantly. The building of a grain of dust. So after all these planets are what? They are nothing but grains, small little particles, specks in the vastness of space, you see, of dust. The groove, the turn, the dumb ellipse, dumb, well, they cannot express themselves, they are there, you see. But a yogi can hear the sounds of these objects, ellipse in space, plowed by the seeking of the world's desire. Ellipse in space, these grooves are made, they are moving around. Why? Because there is the desire of the world to get something out of this movement, to achieve something out of this movement. There is that worst desire. You see, the movement is there. For what? There is a kind of a latent urge in us to achieve something, to do something, to go beyond what we are, to open out to some spiritual possibilities, you see. Lured by the seeing or the worst desire, the long regurgitations of time in times of flood, vomiting. The time is moving and vomiting out, you see. In times of flood, the torment, edging the dire forces of lust. Well, when there is lust and ambition and greed and all that thing, then there is the vomiting, regurgitations of time, you see. Torment, edging the dire force of love that wakes kinetic in us dullard slime. The carves the personality out of mud. The sorrow by which nature's hunger is fed. Yeah, see, it is because the sorrow that you are really doing something, moving forward also. Sorrow by which nature's hunger is fed. The oysters, the urge of the creative urge, oysters, the creative urge, which creates with fire of pain. Yeah, well, actually it's true. When the stars are collapsing like that, it is a kind of fire of pain also, you see. Fire of pain. The fate that punishes virtue with defeat. He is talking of war. And there are a number of examples of that kind of war, of these conflicts, you see. The fate that punishes virtue. Yeah, you do all meritorious things, good things and all that thing, and still you get punished. because there is some kind of a karma still lingering in you. The fate that punishes virtue with defeat, the tragedy that destroys long happiness. That's a pity. The tragedy that destroys long happiness, the weeping of love, the quarrel of the God. Well, the weeping of love is not uncommon, even in ordinary life, you see. The weeping of love, the quarrel of the God. Yes, the gods also quarrel. The ideas quarrel, the forces quarrel, because each god wants to assert himself. Shiva wants to assert himself in a way. Vishnu wants to assert himself in a way. Religions want to assert themselves in their own way. So all these things are bound to happen. The quarrel of the God sees, but all these things, these vast conflicts, clashes, they see in that truth which lives in its own light. When you find that truth, then all these conflicting things disappear completely. They find their own harmony, their own relationship, their own concordance, and they live together in that case. The weeping of a truth which lives in its own light, his soul stood free. So Ashwapati is now free of all these conflicts completely. Whatever was there happening, they are now there. She is in a truth which lives in its own light. His soul stood free, a witness and a king. Witness, well, he is observing everything, but because he is now free of all these conflicts, he is a master of everything. Therefore, he is a king. Therefore, he is a king. Everything is. See, if there is a conflict, it means there is something which is not in your control. But when the conflict has ceased totally, then you are the master, you are the sovereign, you are the king. See.